change the special?
I don't know how to.
You spelled her name wrong. It
Oh.
says stay.
Oh no, you're not stay, but I have to fix that. Hello, welcome to Independence Today. I'm Maria, Independent Living Specialist here at CRI, and I'm with,
Joanne Healy,
Yay.
sitting in for Rob Coker today, who's not here.
and this is Stacy, not stay, because I spelled it wrong.
But
I'm here to stay. I'm here to stay.
I love it.
Thank you for being here with us today. And where are you from?
I am from the Epilepsy Association of Western and Central Pennsylvania. That's a mouthful. But I'm the Erie Community and Education Coordinator, so I do all of this stuff for
You
Erie.
said there's other counties. Well, how many counties there are?
So I usually service northwest up here where we are, Mercer, Venango, Forest,
Okay.
Warren, everything up here in our little area.
Yeah.
But the association itself actually services all the way, probably 50 plus counties in Pennsylvania.
Oh, wow.
So we have offices here in Erie, we have an office in Pittsburgh, and one in Harrisburg.
Oh,
Wow.
that's
So we are pretty spread out.
nice.
So we can kind of touch base on a little bit everywhere across the state, which is
Awesome.
huge.
What are those services that you kind of provide for every county kind of?
We have, all of our services are free.
Okay.
We have education that we do for schools and teachers and staff and students, but we also do it for nurses.
Wow.
We can provide that for nursing.
That's good.
It's
That's great.
huge,
Yeah.
especially for school nursing.
Absolutely, yeah.
Because, you know, you have the kids who go and they don't need the personalized nurses, but they still need to know, you know, protocols and things like that. So we have that. We will come in and do that, again, free. The other programs, we have the Oscar Project, where we help families connect. We choose a couple families every year. It can range from, I want to say like 3 to 4 families, sometimes more, with a service dog.
Oh, wow.
We'll match them
That's
for
good.
them.
That's nice.
And they go through a whole training. That is in Pittsburgh. It's a great program.
My mom actually raises service, well, she did, service puppies until like 1.5 years, and then they go to school for it. So I'm like, oh, I love service dogs.
And it's so important.
It is
Oh,
very
because
important.
you want that independence.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
want, a lot of people with epilepsy need a little bit like security, and that provides it, and
Mhm.
safety.
Mhm.
So having that
And the
dog
freedom
there.
that the person wants, so,
Yes.
you know, without being worried about
Mhm.
it. So,
Yes, we have, I'm trying to think, we have so many programs, and on our website, you can find all of them.
Okay.
We have monitors, we have 3 different kinds that people can, we have the watch one, and then ones where they sleep.
Okay.
So they can get a script, not even a
That's
script, just a letter
important
from their
too,
doctor
yes.
stating that they needed it.
Mhm.
And that's called Emma's Gift. We have Camp Frog, which is
Mhm.
actually, we're blessed up here in Erie,
Nice.
because it's at Camp Finch.
Okay.
So it's right here in not Enbro, Fairview.
Okay.
And we pay for kids, and it's, I wanna say 6, it's school age,
Mhm.
6 to like seniors,
Right.
somewhere in that age
Okay.
range. And it's great because they get a week of camp.
Absolutely. And be with the other kids that
And
experience
safe.
the same
Yes.
thing.
Yeah.
And we provide a doctor, Lariano, I believe, is the one who comes out,
Mhm.
and a nurse to make sure that meds are there, and if any emergency comes up. So like,
Okay.
we have a staff member, Jordan, who's there all week with the kids, on top of the doctor
Mhm.
and a nurse.
Mhm.
So that the parents feel secure
Safe,
and
yeah.
safe that their
Yeah,
child is
yeah.
there. And it's a wonderful program.
That's
And
great.
it's just, the kids have a blast every year.
Oh,
And that goes, this year, it's July 6th through the 12th. So if anyone is interested, they can go to our website, it's eawcp.org, and look up the information. I can't rave enough about that.
Wonderful.
How are you connected to epilepsy, like personally? Like how did you start with the foundation?
So-
Association?
It's a really personal story for me.
Mhm.
My son Liam is 14 now. Can't believe he's 14.
Mhm. That goes back.
It goes way too fast.
Mhm.
He was actually born having seizures. At 10 days old, we were life flighted to Pittsburgh, and we were there for 10 days. And from then on, he has had intractable epilepsy.
Wow.
He was diagnosed at 4 months with infantile spasms. If you're not familiar with it, it's like the most catastrophic form of epilepsy.
Yeah.
So, bless his sweetheart, he is 14. He is non-ambulatory, which means he's in a wheelchair.
Mhm.
He's nonverbal, but he has a Dynavox, so
Okay.
he can talk with his
Yeah,
eyes.
I'm
Well,
there.
it's actually, he talks with his eyes.
Oh,
Okay.
that's even cooler.
It's really cool.
Yeah,
It is. So he has that, and he just, he's my reason.
Yeah,
He's my
Absolutely.
person
Yeah.
for why I do it. You know, before I worked for them, I called them as a parent and a caregiver for help.
And receive the support
I did.
and information that you
Mhm.
needed to survive,
Yep.
to help them.
Yes.
And having this community like that makes everything else less stressful. I mean, there's stress all the time.
No, it does give
But-
you less stress
Yeah.
because sometimes you just don't know where to go
Yeah.
or what to do or how to get it.
Absolutely.
You know you need it, but you're not sure. And they're like, oh, contact this person. You're like,
Yeah.
okay, because you really don't know. I mean,
Right.
he's my special needs child. My oldest, who is 20, was typical and I didn't have these issues. So when you're kind of,
You're just new
Yeah.
and thrown
Really-
into it, and you have to know fast, and
Yes.
you have to get the right resources.
it is, yeah. And I'm a special education teacher
Sure.
for years, so I still was like, oh gosh, this is all new. to me.
Totally different, on the
Yeah.
other side of things,
Yeah,
yeah.
It's different sitting on that other side of the table.
Sure,
Well,
sure.
what if someone did need an olive branch or a branch for like saying, hey, I need help, where would you send them to? Like if they had questions about more information about epilepsy? and
They
stuff?
can go to our website, they can call me.
Mhm.
All of our information is on the website, our Facebook page.
Okay, and
You
has
can find
all that.
It has all of our
We have a way
information
to
on there
put that
too.
Yes.
website
Yep, I
on
can
our
give you the
thing.
link.
Yeah, yeah.
Because I take phone calls on a daily basis, I get emails, and I've been on that other side of the table, like the
Exactly.
mom
Yeah.
or the caregiver, and sometimes they just need someone to be like, I get it,
Yeah.
I get
Sometimes,
it.
I mean, professionals, medical professionals are one area of resources.
Yeah.
But for me personally, I would really enjoy speaking to you because you're gonna give us the real life answers and your barriers and struggles that maybe you experience, that's going to be helpful to a parent
Yeah.
with someone who has
You've been
epilepsy.
through it. You
Yeah.
know what to do.
Yes.
You know what to
Yeah.
expect. So.
And I try to, because I work for them, so I provide the resources and stuff, but like you said, I'm the parent too, so I
Sure.
know, and I always tell my families that call me and they have questions, I'm like, write them down.
Right,
Take them to the doctors.
Right.
I'm like, 'cause sometimes the doctors don't know,
Sure.
or they're just telling
Sure.
you what,
They can.
the
and what
surf-
they-
yeah, that surface information,
right,
and parents don't know what to ask.
right.
Unfortunately, for 14 years, I've had to do that. I didn't know to do it at first.
Mhm. Sure.
But people do, they need to advocate for themselves.
Absolutely, absolutely, it's so
Educated.
important.
Yeah.
Can you give, I mean, I know everybody has heard of epilepsy, or knows somebody who has epilepsy. Can you give us a little background on what causes it and maybe like some symptoms, like what things, there probably isn't, a specific thing, because there's different forms, but.
It's actually one of the most, if not the most common neurological disorders. And it's funny you say what causes it. Nobody truly
Truly knows,
knows,
right.
like what, I mean, there's traumatic brain
different things,
injuries,
sure,
there could be like a
sure.
malformation and things like that, that cause it. And then sometimes they call them those idiopathic, where they don't know what causes it.
Right,
So they just have, it could be hereditary.
right,
If, their aunt or something like that has it. So it's tricky that way. They
But
don't
can you
quite
get it
know.
like after an accident or
You
something?
can, yeah, like a traumatic brain injury
yes,
is what they
yes.
call them.
Yeah.
But you can also get them from getting hit, like a concussion,
Mhm.
or what's really crazy is like if your body's reacting to a high fever,
Yeah,
meningitis, something like
right.
that,
All of a sudden.
you can
right.
have a seizure.
Condition could
Mhm.
cause it
Can do
as
that.
well.
And you can just have one seizure and then not have it again.
How many are there? Like, how many different kinds of epilepsy? Like
Well, there's
hundreds?
there's one, epilepsy is one singular category, but there's multiple different kinds of
Multiple things.
seizures. There's
Okay.
like, you have, like your atonic, which is your drop seizures, and you have your tonic-clonic, which is the ones that you see on TV. Those are the ones that people see on like the convulsions,
Oh,
or
right,
they fall
okay,
and they're
yeah,
convulsing.
all right,
Mall
the
and-
phone.
Yep,
that,
yes.
okay.
And then you have like, the ones with the absence, where they're just staring into space,
Okay.
and
Right.
your focal, and
Right.
then you have the super fast ones, like they're called myoclonic,
Mm.
and they're just like,
Instant,
my favorites
you know,
ones
yeah.
to describe is, because these are what my son has, is like you're falling asleep, and then you get that jerk awake.
Right.
That's kind of what those myoclonics look like.
Okay.
So there's so many different kinds. And the crazy thing with epilepsy is most people, they have like one, and as they hit puberty or menopause, they can develop another kind.
Right.
So they can have one or two different kinds at any given moment.
So it is progressive, it can be progressive.
It can be
Yeah, or
progressive.
change.
It can change, it's neurological, it's all in that brain, the
Right.
hardwire, like, of our brain.
Right.
Sometimes, I had a few friends who would be able to tell that they're about to have one.
An aura,
Is that true?
it is, it's
Mhm.
100% true, people have auras, my son will get very
They'll like
like,
sit down or say,
Mhm.
hey, can you give me something? I need to put it in my mouth real quick because something's gonna happen.
They
They
don't
sense
know.
it. I thought they just had an intuition
that's how
about it, but
they-
that's an actual.
I mean, intuition's a good way of putting aura, they know something's about to happen, their body is telling them something's
Sure.
about
Okay.
to happen.
And isn't that how like a service dog would?
Yeah,
would
alert you,
notice
book
that?
you.
Okay,
Yeah,
right,
Yeah,
okay.
they'll learn that, with their person, and that's a whole, like, training they go through, it's
Sure.
fascinating, I
Sure.
haven't got to
Amazing.
see it firsthand.
Can you
but
just
I'm like,
imagine sensing that it's
It's
about to
coming.
happen
Yeah,
and then
yeah,
letting
that's,
your
I don't know,
person know?
that, you know,
That's crazy.
it's a good thing that they can prepare for it, but at the
Right.
same time, it could be very scary
Yeah,
that it's
Yeah.
coming.
but
you know.
still very cool that they can sense that.
Yeah, and then
What,
kind of saves them a little bit of, pain.
Yeah.
yeah.
They're having certain
To
ones they can
prepare.
sit,
Sit
they can
down.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
you're gonna
yeah.
fall
be in an
over.
area
Yeah.
where they're not gonna,
Yeah.
you know,
But it's
harm
not all the time.
themselves. Right.
Not a lot of them have them, sometimes they just happen.
Sure,
And
sure.
it's
She was
crazy.
lucky enough to say, hey, I think I'm gonna have some, or like,
Yeah.
she would sit down, I'm like, why are you sitting down, we're gonna go. She's like, no, wait, give
No.
me a minute.
Right,
Right,
yep.
yeah.
She needed to gather,
Like,
yeah.
okay.
That's good though.
Yeah.
So what, I'm gonna ask a very common, you know, I think most of us have seen somebody have a seizure.
Oh, yeah.
What is the protocol of what to do, you know, even if you came across a stranger, you know, and they were saying they were going to have a seizure. Can you give us some just basic knowledge to
aid,
keep
yeah.
people safe?
The best thing, if you are coming across someone having a seizure, they're not a client, they're not somebody in your family, that you're familiar with, if you just happen to come across someone having one, don't leave them alone, call
Right,
911.
exactly.
Like that's,
Stay calm.
yeah,
Yeah.
and usually adrenaline kicks in and you're
Yeah.
calm during
Yeah.
it, afterwards you're like,
Yeah.
oh.
Right.
Yeah, I know that one.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
And that's all of us, I mean, my son still has them and I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Sure,
But the most important is to call that 911,
yeah,
to, if they happen to know and are able to tell you they have rescue meds or something,
Mhm.
you know, you can make sure that EMS gets it. I would not recommend
Yeah,
you guys
right,
giving
right,
it to them.
Right, right.
But making sure that like, hey, before they started convulsing or having a seizure, they said they have this and then, you know, hopefully, the person having the seizure has a medical alert bracelet or something
Mhm.
there.
To let you know that,
yeah.
yeah.
They also time.
Time, that was my next thing,
Yeah,
is, yeah,
okay,
make sure you time the seizure too, because the
Okay.
EMS is gonna ask you.
Yeah.
Anything over 5 minutes is,
It's bad.
Right,
really
Very
bad.
severe.
Right.
If you hit that 5-minute mark, it kind of, I hate to say this, but it's kind of like your brain starts to die in that section.
Sure,
And it's
sure.
really scary,
Yeah,
because the more seizures you have that are controlled, the more gray matter turns white,
Mhm.
and, you know.
I mean, as soon as it starts, call 911,
Mhm.
second, make sure they're
Start time,
safe,
yes.
time.
And when you make sure they're safe, you can, if they're convulsing, roll on their side.
Right.
right.
Just so
right,
that they,
I
if
get
they're
that, yeah.
vomiting or they're drooling, they're not choking or aspirating, because
Exactly,
then
to roll them on their
So,
side.
biting used to be, people would say, oh, put something in their mouth,
Right, right.
but that actually will cause a choking
Okay.
hazard.
Yeah.
I was gonna
So
say,
you don't wanna do that, just
Yeah.
roll them on their side, and if they have like women, I'm not wearing a necklace today,
Mm,
but if you're wearing a necklace or a lanyard,
Right.
you know, if you are able to loosen it,
Mhm.
take it off ties,
Okay.
top buttons,
Mhm.
just to
Air,
help
air.
Yeah.
get the breathing,
Yeah.
keep the breathing. People do not stop breathing when they're having a seizure. They will turn blue though around their lips.
Sure.
That's normal. It's scary to see,
Yeah.
but it is actually normal because your body is working so hard. It's like running a 5K in a minute.
Right.
Like, it's just exhausting.
Yeah, it
for them.
is.
So
Yes,
all of
that's
their
sad.
faculties and things are just all out of sorts.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's really good to know though. 'cause
Yeah,
I'm-
because, you know, I think a lot of people, as you said, in the past, were told, oh, put something in their mouth
Yeah.
so they don't bite their tongue, you know, or
Mhm.
whatever the myths that people used to
Yeah.
say.
I think-
You know, but you wanna make sure that they're kind of clear
Yes.
of objects, put them on their
Yeah.
side, you know, calm them down, let them
Let
continue
them,
through what they
Mhm.
have to
Make
do.
sure
You
they
shouldn't
calm
stop them from
yes, if you restrain
shaking.
them or
That's
anything
right.
like that,
Right.
it's not even worse. They'll wake up with bruises and,
Right.
I hope
And
never.
not to
broken
mention waking
things
up with
and-
something on
Right.
you, I would be
Yes.
freaking out too.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
And they wake up, they're tired.
Sure, and they don't really necessarily know really what happens,
Mhm.
even though they may have gotten
An aura
an
or
indication,
something.
or aura, you know, maybe they didn't realize they actually went into
Yeah.
the seizure,
Yeah.
full blown or whatever.
And that's the scary part is sometimes people have those auras, sometimes they don't, and they
Right,
don't know,
right.
and it just happens.
Right,
If you, hopefully they're with somebody else or something like
Sure.
that, because if you just happen to see someone having a seizure, it's
It can
scary.
be very
It's very
scary,
scary
yeah.
for them, for
yeah,
you, and all the
yeah,
other
and
people
because you're
around.
alone and you
Mhm.
wanna make sure someone helps you, or
Yes.
what, and I wanna be the person to help give you the right
Yes.
service, you know, the right help,
That's
yeah.
good to know.
So now, if somebody had, you know, questions about epilepsy, do you actually have like a brick and mortar, organization
We
here?
do, not here in Erie,
Yeah, okay.
but anyone can call me, I will bring stuff to them, or I can mail it to them.
Okay,
But our Pittsburgh office is a brick and mortar, it's in
Okay.
the Carlito building, our people are there
sure,
Monday through Friday, Tuesday through Friday, Mondays are home day. But,
Well, that's
they
nice.
can always do, we work from
Yeah,
home.
that's
Right,
So there's always that too, and our
Mhm.
Harrisburg office is the same, they have one.
okay.
I'm just a one-man machine right
Sure.
here in Erie.
Yeah,
But you're a local entity to
I-
help people and
yeah.
answer questions, like you
Mhm.
said. You're a plethora of information.
Oh,
You
yeah.
know,
Experience.
and experience,
And
and like I said, it gives a different take on what your experience personally has been to somebody who may not know where to turn. I think you give that little personal touch to it. you
I
know, as
try
well.
to, because, to me, it's not just a job, it's
Yeah,
actually
it's
my
your
life.
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
I live this, and
Absolutely.
the people I work with are amazing, and I love them.
Mm,
And they've taught me a lot about the resources and our programs and stuff.
Sure.
Yeah.
But I also bring that personal mom
Sure.
aspect
Yeah.
to it.
Yeah, moms are good.
So-
They're comforting,
Yeah,
they're confident, and you help everybody else.
Yeah.
I
That's
try.
awesome. Yeah.
Is there anything else, I know you had talked a little bit about an upcoming event
We
that you're
do,
doing.
here in Erie, we have our Highmark Walk, which I'm sure most of Erie is familiar with. We do it every year. It's the
Okay.
first weekend in June.
Okay.
It's the 6th.
Yeah.
It's, no,
Yeah, we'll
it's
put
this, it
we'll
is
put it
next
right.
Saturday.
Next
Let you know.
Saturday.
It's next Saturday.
Seventh.
Okay, the 7th?
And we are at Penn State Barron,
Okay.
which is so nice
Yeah.
because being at Presque
Great.
Isle, I mean, we love Presque Isle, being from Erie, we love it. But it's really hard to push
get in.
wheelchairs
Sure, sure.
in the sand and the gravel. So
Okay.
they moved it to Penn State Barron, and I'm so
Beautiful
happy
trails
there.
and,
It's
and
gorgeous.
beautiful campus.
But we will be there, and I wanna say there's 11 other organizations
Oh,
there this year,
wow.
11 or
Okay.
12.
Okay.
So we will be
Awesome.
there, they can register for the walk on our website,
Okay,
or they can just come the morning of, we'd love that. We have
Yeah.
another walk in Harrisburg and in Pittsburgh. Our Pittsburgh walk is Father's Day weekend,
Mhm.
and our Harrisburg walk is in August. So we have those this summer,
Wow.
and then, they follow us on any of our social media. We do have other events that come. We usually do a holiday party. This year I did a purple party at the brewery.
Oh, nice.
It was so much fun.
That's
Were
great.
you all dressed up in purple, or would you?
Well, I sure did.
I
I did,
I
and a
would've
lot of
been
people
there
did too. But,
would have been in a Barney costume, honestly. No.
that would have been great. I would have loved it.
Exactly.
But we try to do a lot of those things, but we also do educational events and
That's
try to
good, yeah.
work with the community. Erie's got a lot of resources.
Absolutely.
And the thing with it is, living here my entire life,
You know,
people-
a lot of people.
I know a lot of people,
Yeah,
but I want to bring that to these
absolutely.
younger
Yeah,
families
they
and
don't
moms.
know.
They
Yeah.
don't know what's out there, and it took me
Right.
a really long time
Yeah.
to find them. So I try to work with those organizations. I'm working on a mental health awareness one with NAMI to help, because people with epilepsy, they suffer from depression
Sure.
and isolation
Yeah.
and just,
Yeah.
they feel it.
Right.
And I want to empower them.
Because you like just express it too.
Well,
Like I couldn't imagine like going out and then all of a sudden having a seizure and being like, oh, what happened? And everybody's around you. Actually, I do know what that feels like. But anyway, no, but I get that, you know, the emotional trauma of that. So
It's scary. You're just waiting for the other shoe to drop because you never know when it's gonna happen, and that they feel isolated, that not everyone can drive.
Right.
Because if you have a seizure in
Right.
Pennsylvania, you have to wait a year.
But then if
6
you have
months
another
to
one,
it.
you have to wait 6 months.
You have to wait, and so that, and like New York is 2 years, and Ohio, I'd have to double check, but it's like over a year. So they have to rely on places for rides, and it's just a lot for them, and then working,
Sure.
just
Yeah.
getting a job and.
Yeah, and a lot of employers feel like, you know, oh, I don't wanna,
Safety hazard.
hire somebody because it's a risk and liability and all that stuff. But these are people that have lots of skills and wonderful things to offer.
Oh my gosh,
It just happens they have a condition
Yeah.
Yes.
that, you know, sometimes can
It
happen,
stalls them
and,
sometimes, and
you
that's it.
know,
Yeah.
so the education piece is the key to let people know that this is common, and I think you shared some of the
it's
statistics.
crazy, the statistics, because you said employers are
Yeah.
hesitant, but if they
Yeah.
actually knew the
Knew
numbers,
how
it would
common it
be
is,
crazy.
yeah.
1 in 26 people
Wow,
will have epilepsy. I
Right.
mean, if you're in a classroom of students, that's like one
One,
of them,
yeah,
there's just
yeah.
one.
Yeah.
And you have like, how many classrooms in a
Yeah.
school? It's, you have like 10 kids in a school, let
Sure.
alone right there.
Yeah.
sure,
And you look at the workplace environment, it's
Right,
crazy.
right.
And then the statistics that blow my mind is that 1 in 10 people will have a seizure in their lifetime.
wow,
And that could be just because of that high fever, it could be just because of a car
Mhm.
accident, it doesn't mean they have epilepsy.
right,
Because you don't get that epilepsy diagnosis unless you have 2 unprovoked
okay,
seizures.
okay.
So,
But you could still have a
You can still
seizure
have a seizure.
and never have one again
Yep.
because of a condition.
yep, my
But so
mother
it's
had
important,
one
yeah.
because she, her blood sugar dropped.
Mm,
And she's never had one since, never had one before,
Wow.
so,
Yeah.
like, she's one of those 1 in 10.
yeah,
Glad it was at my house,
right,
Yeah.
and you
Yeah.
know,
Thank God.
right?
Yeah.
but, I mean, if you think about it, those numbers are staggering, and over 3 million people. It's like
Wow.
a collective number
Sure.
of people diagnosed with epilepsy.
Sure,
And it's almost as many with breast cancer. I mean,
Yeah.
you think about it,
yeah.
it's
Just
it's
common
growing.
and people need to know more information about it.
And
So
they're
that
scared
it
of it.
becomes, you know,
Yeah.
not something you should be scared about, but
Yeah.
you know
You need
what
to
to
be
do.
educated
Yes,
about it,
Yeah.
trained
And that's
on
why
it,
we do
you
these
know?
podcasts.
Yeah,
Which
because-
I love,
Yeah.
because it does, it comes with such a negative stigma
Yeah,
and
it
And you
should.
need to
stereotypes.
eliminate that by
Yeah.
educating
If you're
people,
prepared for it,
absolutely.
you know what to do,
Yeah.
and people can still work
Yeah.
and live their lives. you
They
know?
do, the medications are out there, there's surgery options, there's tons of options, and a lot of people go on to have kids.
Mhm.
They go
Normal,
on
everybody
to
does, yeah.
do
Yeah,
everything everyone else does.
yeah.
They just have that, it's not even a disease, right? They just have that one thing,
Right,
just like everybody has one
Yes,
thing.
absolutely.
Exactly.
Yeah.
To deal with.
Everybody has something.
Yes, exactly, everybody has something.
Well, you've certainly enlightened us today
Well,
with
thank you.
education.
So much.
Wonderful.
It's fine.
We appreciate all the wonderful, you know, things that you shared with us today. I think there's so much more, you know, that people have questions.
Yes.
So, you know, we're gonna put your website information.
Yes.
We're gonna put the dates of your walk so we can
Yeah.
get some community participation
I would love
there.
that.
But yeah, so I appreciate your time, and I mean, anytime you wanna come back and share more, if something is happening, an event that you're
Absolutely.
doing, you're more than welcome to do so. And we appreciate your time once again. Marina,
Yeah, so we have a couple of things going on in June. I think you wanted to let them know about that.
yeah,
And then Yes, you have announcements.
Yeah, well, so I'm just gonna kind of just share this. I mean, Rob unfortunately isn't here today because he was planning on being here, but he became ill and we're sorry he isn't here. But this was going to actually be Rob Coker's last show, and it's not anything bad. Rob just has a lot of ideas and he has a lot of things that he's working on, and his time has been very thin lately. So unfortunately, Rob has just decided to step back from his role here on Independence today. But Rob has got great things happening. Rob's done a lot of wonderful fundraising for the Anna Shelter, if you know him. He's been doing a lot of fundraisers for them. Rob has his hand in every cookie jar out there, you know, so literally. But he wants to move on and he wants to do some other things. He's actually thinking about doing his own podcast with some members of the community on Cat TV. So we will certainly, look forward to that because it'll be a lot more untamed than he could be here. But Rob, we just want to thank him for his time. He was the founder of this podcast with Mike Fiorelli. And, it's kind of evolved and it kind of took a hiatus and now we're trying to bring it back. Maria will still continue to be the host as she does all the time because in her wonderful rapport that she has here. We're going to continue to do Independence Today show with wonderful guests like Stacy and other people in the community. But we did want to talk about some other things with our activities coming up, just to get you, excited about. Because here we are in summer. Summertime is finally here, and we have a lot of events. So, did you want me to cover that?
Go ahead, if you want to.
So, next Thursday, June 5th, we have our Warren Consumer Appreciation Picnic that is at Betts Park from 11 to 2. So these are our outgoing rural counties activities. We are planning a upcoming rummage sale. We're going to name it something creative, but that's coming up maybe in September. So CRI is planning that in the current stages of that. June 9th, we have our wellness art class where they're going to be doing some collages and stuff. So we have our art instructor coming then. Then we have the following Friday, we have our Seneca Consumer Appreciation Picnic at Morrison Park from 11 to 2. Then we have a wonderful tech owl training that's coming up that we're going to be doing for our autism department. And then we have our Tech Out podcast coming up on the 20th, where Miss Rosanna and Maria will feature an item on the new, some of our accelerator grant devices that are available. Then we have a game day cookout / ice cream social.
That's a big breath.
June 24th. And then we will have a June 27th podcast to be announced. We're working on maybe a possible personal trainer that is going to join us. So we have lots of stuff. June is going to come and go.
Did we mention the peer support one?
Oh, we did not.
It's
And
okay.
the other things, we have 2 other special events for consumers. We have the peer support group on the 19th. And then on the 17th, we have a self-advocacy group. So these are, we've just had one other peer support group. But that is turning out to be very exciting. It's about friendships and community, and we're trying to just give information on how to support each other in situations. So that has been a fun group. And then we have our first self-advocacy group coming up on the 17th. Sorry.
Yeah, you're
that was
good.
it. 17th. And that is going to be a really good, I'm looking forward to that because we are going to use our Lehigh Valley Center for Independent Living training webinars that they did recently that was outstanding.
And it's going to be fun too.
Yeah, and it was how to learn how to self-advocate, how to tell your personal story, how to get in touch with your legislators, what kinds of key things do you need to include in your self-advocacy movements. So we've got a lot of things going on, so I'm very excited. Like I said, Independence Day will continue.
Yes, it will continue.
We're hoping for the next one to do June 27th. We're gonna miss you, Rob, but we wish you well, and that's all I have.
Yeah, did you have anything else you wanted to say, or?
I just wanna thank you guys so much for that, because you know what, when you said the self-advocacy,
Yeah.
I think that people need to know that that's
Absolutely.
huge, like
Yeah.
that is huge.
But
And
they
that's
also
the
need to
beauty
know
of it.
how to.
Yes.
Like, yes, I have a
Yes.
story.
And the beauty
I have
of
all
it is
this.
that if you have epilepsy, if you have
Yeah.
any kind of disability,
Yeah.
old, young,
Yeah.
everyone
It
that
is.
we serve, you're welcome to attend that. These
I
events
love
are
that.
free.
That's great. 'cause
We may
me too,
use you
too.
as a resource on like some of your input, that would be
Yeah,
great.
absolutely. I've been to Harrisburg
Yeah.
a couple times.
Wonderful.
We do self-advocacy
Wonderful.
and share your story.
Yeah.
I
Well,
think that's
thank you
huge.
so much.
Thank
I
you.
appreciate your time. I'm so glad that we finally got you here.
Yes, I know.
You
I know.
provided some really great information, and it's for people like you that make it all good for other people to get information, to be
Thank you.
educated, and we appreciate what you do for the community.
Well, thank you, because
So-
being from here, it's
Yeah.
truly where my heart is.
Yeah,
We'll see you on the
absolutely.
next podcast.
All right, thanks, guys.
Bye.